As early as development of America's agriculture has been an important factor of survival for American people. As Americans' existence progressed in the Middle Ages, progressed, increasing communication, the commercial revolution, and the rise of cities in Western Europe tended to turn in an agricultural way. From subsistence farming towards the growing of crops for sale outside of the community. Hence commercials hence commercials. In following British practices of close off piece of land that landlords to set to the side, formerly of subject to common rights for inten- intensive cropping or fence pasturager, leading to inefficient production of a single crop. The appearance of mechanical devices such as the sugar mill and Eli Whitney cotton gin helped to support the system of a large plantations based on a single crop. The Industrial Revolution after the late 18th century swelled the population of towns and cities and increasingly forced the agriculture into greater integration with general and economic and financial patterns. In the American colonies, the independent, more or less self-sufficient family farms became the normal in the North, while the plantations were using slave labor was dominant, although not universal in the South. The free farm published westward with the frontier. Though throughout the history, the government of America was taking a more aggressive approach to talking issues surrounding modern commercial farm agriculture. Farm policies often have been dated back to the New Deal policy. The policy hoped to make regulation policies that set up the best food system in the world. As little as it may seem, the U.S. government can and are playing an important role in the agricultural development, increasingly in the commercial agriculture because it is in our nation interest. The government always have and always will have a hand in farming as long as people need food, clothing, shelter, and fuel to survive. History, government has regulated food and drug products in general. The focus of this regulation has been on ensuring the quality and safety of food. Food regulation as we know it today in the United States has its roots in the late 19th century when local government began to enact food and drug regulation and earnest federal regulation in the industry began on a large scale in the early 20th century. When Congress enacted the Pure Food and Drug Act in 1906, the in 1906, the regulatory agency spawned in this law, the United States Food and Drug Administration (FDA) now directly regulates and processes significant power over the entry in ways which food and drugs are marketed to consumers and manufacturing practices of food and drug firms. Colonial times until the mid late 19th century, most food and drug regulation in America was enacted at the state and local level. Additionally, these regulations were generally targeted towards specific food products. For instance, in 1641, Massachusetts introduced its first food law, which requires the official inspection of beef, pork, and fish. This was allowed in 1650 with legislation that regulated the quality of bread. Meanwhile, Virginia in the 1600s, intact laws to regulate weights and measures for corn to outlaw the sale of adulterated wine. Commercial agriculture is a diverse field that really doesn't allow room for newcomers. It's designed that way because the government and farming corporations have been supplying America with its need, and they have a systematic approach to things.